Thanks for watching This Week in Discovery News. I'm Trace, and this week we're talking about how this astronaut looks like she's trying to grab the sun, how otters are fighting global warming, and how they're running out of space on the ground, so they're going to move bike lanes up to the sky. Spacewalking is really hard work, and while we normally associate astronauts with engineers or scientists, we don't usually think of them as athletes, but it's not easy to be outside in space for 6 hours or more.
Dude, oh, I can't scratch my nose. Ah! It's so itchy! Ah!
This week we published this photo of Sunita Williams outside the ISS on a spacewalk. It looks like she's grabbing for the sun, and it's one of the most popular posts we've ever had. With good reason, it looks really cool. This was taken during a 6.5-hour spacewalk where Williams and her co-worker Akihiko Hoshide were outside of the ISS taking a break. The cool thing about a spacesuit is it is essentially the smallest spacecraft we can create. So small that it fits just around your skin. During this EVA, Williams and Hoshide were supposed to unstick a bolt that was attached to a critical power unit. Like in Apollo 13, but without the imminent danger, the ground crew and the ISS astronauts worked together to find a solution using only the things available. So even on the ground, they eliminated anything they wouldn't have access to on the International Space Station. Using some improvised tools, including a standard toothbrush, the astronauts were able to take the bolt off and replace a power bus that supplied electricity to the entire International Space Station. That's right, some of the smartest and most dedicated people at NASA just used a toothbrush to repair one of the most complicated and extensive science projects ever attempted by man. That is just great. Check out the big pic at discoverynews.com/suntouch, and remember, astronauts are not the only ones who help people out this week. Sea otters are some of the cutest animals around, but don't let their cuteness fool you. They kick global warming's butt. Booyah, global warming! Yes, I know the more correct term is not global warming, but global climate change or climate shift, but this has to do with CO2 in the atmosphere, so let's just stick with global warming and call it good, okay? The University of California, Santa Cruz did a study on these little fuzzy fellas, and they found, hey, pay attention. Right, so the otters keep sea urchin populations in check. The ocean has these massive forests of underwater sea plants called kelp, and in those forests of kelp live sea urchins which feed on it. When the otters aren't around, it's like a smorgasbord. The urchins are just going to town on that kelp. They eat so much that it affects the outside environment. When the otters swim by, instead of feasting on the kelp, the urchins hide in crevices on the sea floor and only pick up little scraps. When there are fewer sea urchins feeding on the kelp, then the forests grow larger and they suck up even more of the CO2 in the atmosphere. According to the study released this week, the kelp forests can suck up 12 times the carbon dioxide with otters around, as opposed to when the urchins are doing their greedy snacking. So more otters mean fewer sea urchins, mean more kelp, mean good for us. It does show for the first time that living things can affect the environment in which they live. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah. While boosting otter populations isn't necessarily a real solution, the researchers said that if ecologists can get a handle on this, then there may be opportunities for a win-win scenario whereby animals are protected and carbon gets sequestered. Do you want to kelp save the otters? Then visit discoverynews.com/otterwarriors to read more. And now from undersea urchins to a town that in literature has had its fair share. London is crowded. It's choked with cars and buses, with chippies and tourists and all sorts of other things. What about bicycles? Can they go there? How about there? No, they can't. Where do they fit in? London architect Sam Martin said that he feared for his safety while riding his bicycle through the streets of London. He thought of a better way. Martin designed a futuristic tube where cyclists could be separated above the ground from their motor-bound brethren. It's called the Sky Cycle, and though it will have to be corporate sponsored and will require a fee from the cyclists, he thinks that they can get it built by 2015. They could save money by installing it next to old public transportation lines, but the cost will still run in the tens of millions of pounds. Blimey, that's a bit more than a ninepence. The mayor of London likes the idea and is considering the proposal, but I think we all know how the mayor feels about being suspended in midair. Pedal over to discoverynews.com/skycycle to learn more. So that's all for this week. To get more of our coverage, make sure that you like us on Facebook, you follow us on Twitter, and that you check out our Tumblr. You can also subscribe to our Discovery Daily newsletter and get headlines in your inbox every day. Subscription options and links to our social media are at discoverynews.com. Keep commenting and tweeting, and thanks for watching This Week in Discovery News. We'll see you next time. Oh, that was bad. And that is not an endorsement. The Japanese Space Exploration Agency. JAXA. The photo was... What? University of California. Hello? I've shot with cars and buses full of trains and chippies all round lovely.